this show today. I hope everyone has been having a very good week. And today's Friday, 5 p.m. UK time. We're having the Happy Woman's Show. So I'm AK BT, and I love helping women to be happy. I love helping women to start their businesses using automated system. But today on this show, I've got a guest with me here, and we will be talking about the happiness of women. But I'm really going to pass over to Susie to be able to introduce herself. Welcome, Susie, to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thanks for having me here.
Right. So a bit of introduction, Susie. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. My name is Suzzy, and I am a personal trainer by trade, and I'm also a habits coach. And I help people to simplify the pathway to progress because oftentimes we know what we want. We have these beautiful dreams, these amazing ambitions, but the overwhelm or the pressure or the frustration of it all holds us back from actually achieving that thing. So I have formed some really, really simple processes to help you actually make your dreams a reality starting today. This isn't one of those things that you have to go out and go through this whole thing before you can begin. It's about what you can do today to make your dreams and your personal happiness actually happen. So that's kind of what I do for a living. Personally, I have 4 fantastic kids. I'm married to my best friend, and we live in Idaho in the USA. And I am a bit of an adventure seeker. I love to experience new things, try new things, and I'm also a thrill seeker. I like to do things that scare me. So, as sort of an adrenaline junkie, I try to do things that push me beyond my limits. And today I kind of want to just talk to you guys a little bit about one of the ways that I simplify the path to progress. So when I was, like I said, I have 4 kids, and right after I had my 4th baby, I really, really struggled. I felt like I lost my happiness. This show is a lot about helping women to find their happiness, and this is my story of how I found mine. So for about a year after my 4th baby was born, I just felt disconnected from life. I didn't feel like myself. I'm usually a very optimistic and positive and happy person, and the things that used to make me happy just didn't anymore. I felt lost. I felt like I had just lost a piece of myself that made me feel connected to the world around me. And I suffered with this and I struggled with this for over a year. And then I finally started asking the question, what can I do? Like, is this really how life just has to be now? Or is there something missing here? Is there something wrong? And I was talking to one of my cousins one day, and she told me, she's like, you have postpartum depression. And I'm like, no, I have a great relationship with my baby and I don't feel sad. I just don't feel like myself. And she's like, that's postpartum depression. And I fought with her for a while about this. And then I finally broke down and I went and saw a doctor, and they diagnosed me with postpartum depression. And I was like, I had no idea. And they said that they recommend, my doctor said, you need to work on your mental health. That needs to be your number one focus right now. And I had never really focused on mental health by itself before. And so as a personal trainer, I'm constantly working with my clients about goals. And I had developed this program to help them form healthy habits. And after I'd spoken to this doctor, I was inspired to try my own programming, my healthy habits program. But instead of on physical health, I would try it on mental health. And so I sat down and I set myself some mental health goals. And I thought, all right, this is how I'm going to change things. This is how I'm going to keep going. This is how I'm going to move forward. And within about 2 days, I was exhausted. I was totally burned out. If you've ever done this, New Year's resolutions, maybe you've done this to yourself. You set a million goals, and then a couple of days in, you're just overwhelmed. So I had overwhelmed myself, and I decided rather than give up, rather than quit and let this dream go, let this need go, I knew I needed to work on this. I knew I needed this in my life. And so rather than just let it go, I decided to find a way to make it happen. And so I cut it back to 3 simple habits. So rather than taking on everything I wanted to do, I cut it back to 3. And I picked 3, what I call the 3 essentials. And I chose 3 things that I could do in my life that would absolutely help me to work on that mental health, like my doctor had recommended. And one of the things was to listen to music. So step number one in any sort of mental health journey, if you are here, if you understand this, if you feel resonating that you have lost a bit of your happiness, do something that speaks to your soul. This picture here on my wall, do what makes your soul happy. This is how you know that it's a little piece that you have to know yourself. I know personally that music speaks to my soul in a way that nothing else does. So I put it in my schedule. I made time every single day to listen to music. This seems like such a silly and simple and strange habit, but for me, it just brought a little bit of life back, and it just made me reconnect with myself and who I am. So that was one of my every single day habits. Another one I did was I wanted to work on my nutrition and my health, but I wasn't in a place where I could. I knew I didn't have the mental brain space or the physical capacity. And so rather than to just let it go, I decided to pick the simplest possible thing I could think of. And I started taking a daily multivitamin. How simple is that? Like, this habit took one. But what that did was it gave me a little boost because I could check it off my list. Like, okay, I did something today. If you've ever been in the throes of depression, you know any sort of accomplishment is progress. It's a good thing. And so for me, this was just one thing that I knew I could do. And so I did it. Every day I would just check that off, take my multivitamin, and that was a habit. I developed that habit. And then my third habit was affirmations. I would sit in front of my mirror and I would look myself in the eye and I would say 5 statements. I had 5 statements that I had formulated, and 2 of them I knew to be true. These were things that I know and love about myself. And the other 3 were things I wanted to be true, things that I had lost, things that I needed and I wanted back in my life, but I didn't feel connected with anymore. And so one of those things was, I am me, and that's all I ever want to be. That was a statement that I didn't believe at the time. I didn't feel like me, and I didn't know if I wanted to be me. I wanted more. I wanted to feel different than I felt. So rather than try to become somebody else, I just reconnected with myself, and I told myself every single day in my own mirror, looking myself in the eye, I would say, I am me, and that's all I ever want to be. And affirmations, if you've ever done these, they take a little while to catch on. The first few days, you kind of feel not really connected with it. But after a couple of weeks, all of a sudden, there's this shift that happens in your subconscious mind. And what happens is you start to believe it because it's coming from you. You can be told by other people all day long that whatever it is that you're struggling with, if you believe that about yourself, like you know what I'm talking about. Let's say that you are on a weight loss journey and there's some part of your body that you really, really hate. And you're like, oh, I just really hate the way that my arms look or the way that my stomach looks. And people around you are like, oh, you look so good. And they're telling you all day long, you look really, really good. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You look great. But you don't believe it because you're getting it from an outside source. So affirmations is the way to make that mindset shift because you're getting it from your inside source.
Yeah.
Once you believe it in here, nothing can stop you. And so after this, I went through this process of mental health habit building, and I used my 60-day program. And like I said, I formed 3 simple habits over a 60-day period. I would do these things as consistently as I could. Habits don't mean you have to be perfect. So more often than not, I would do these 3 tasks every day. And over over a 2-month period, I absolutely got my happy back. I totally felt like myself again. I felt reconnected with me. I felt reconnected with who I am. And just life was breathed back into me. It was absolutely incredible.
That's so good. So good. Let me just bring you back to the affirmations. I'm a fan of affirmations. I want to know, how do you actually do them?
So I sit in front of my mirror and I start with, I don't know if you've ever read the book Mel Robbins' High Five Habit. I start with a high five. There's a lot of psychology behind what giving yourself a celebration for no reason is. And I fully support that. And so I give myself a celebration and I tell myself, good job for just showing up. I look myself in the eye, and then I have sticky notes on my mirror and I read my sticky notes to myself. And right now I have 10. When I was in my deep dark moment, I only had 5, but now I have 2. And I repeat those phrases to myself. Like I said before, some of them are things I know to be true and I love about myself. And some of them are things I am not sure of, or I don't believe yet, but I need those, or I want those. I want to believe those things. And so I stand in my mirror and I just repeat those things to myself in the morning.
That is so good. That's a good idea of having the notes on the mirror, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
And
so good.
another
So
way that I used to do it.
do you swap them sometimes, or you
Yeah.
have to make
Mhm.
sure you have those 10 ingrained in your system, in your body, and is that what you do after some period of time? Then you take them off and put other ones.
Yeah. So, like I said before, my habit formation system, the research has shown that about 60 days is what it takes to get your conscious mind and your subconscious mind to work together. So
That's right.
much of what's out there that helps people is either one or the other. But if you want it to be a lasting change that actually stays with you, you need to harness your conscious and subconscious together. And
Hmm.
so that takes about 60 days. So I stick with mine for 60 days at a time, and then I'll switch them out. But at the beginning, when I very first start, I give myself a couple of weeks. I call it the first phase. Give myself a couple of weeks to hone in and decide which ones I actually need, which ones I actually want, and which ones maybe, well, maybe that's not the one, or maybe that's not the way I want to say it. So I give myself 2 or 3 weeks at the beginning to kind of shift them and change them a little bit. And then once they're set, I keep them for the full 60 days.
I see. Excellent, excellent. I understand you have a program. So how can you tell us a little bit about your program and how you
Yeah,
do what you're
so I've
doing
got
to
2
support women?
programs, and one of them, the one that I've been running for 15 years, that one that I alluded to earlier it's called Healthy and Happy. And it's a way to form healthy habits in your life over that 60-day period. And so in 60 days, you master 10 healthy habits. And what this does is it helps you to get your physical health back in order in a way that will stay with you long term. I am so against all of those short-term fixes that are out there because short-term fix leads to long-term frustration. Whereas habitual lifestyle change leads to long-term perpetual results on autopilot. So for 60 days, you focus on your healthy habits, and then for the rest of your life, you have a lifestyle you can depend on, and you don't even have to think about it. It's absolutely fascinating. In the
Wow,
second program,
that is so good. That is so good. And how long
yeah,
is your program?
that one is a 60-day program, and it encompasses all 10 habits, but it's under the umbrella of physical health. So if you're
Yeah.
looking for some physical health habits, this is a fantastic program. 100% successful. I've never had anyone ask for their money back or anything like that. And it's just they're guaranteed results because you get coaching and accountability all along the way. So there's no way to fall off the wagon. There's no way to forget what you're working on or give up on yourself. You are in this and I'm in this and we work on it together. And you have a support group around you as well of all the people that are working on the same program as you. So your support group fully understands the process you're going through because they're going through it at the same time.
I see. I see. That's so good. So good. Well, if we have a lot of women here that will be watching this, what message would you want to tell them?
I would say start today. Whatever it is that you want, whatever your dream, your ambition is, that thing that's calling on your heart that you know that you need, stop planning for it. Stop thinking about what you're going to do Monday or what you're going to do next month or next week. What can you do today to make that thing happen? What can you do today to make that a reality in your life? And my last final words here would be to make it as simple as possible. That 3 essentials habit that I talked about earlier, those were daily things that I could do every single day that took only a few minutes. And those were just so, so simple. And that's the other program I want to drop in here really quickly is called the 3 Essentials. And this is a mastermind group, a mastermind accountability group that you can join if you want to. And we're just there to support each other on working on 3 tasks. It sounds simple and it sounds easy, but it's really powerful in that we can actually do more by doing less. And so many of us try to take on all the things at once. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a parent, if you're any of those things, you understand what I'm talking about here. So we're going to pull it back. We're going to rein it in and we're going to pick 3 things to focus on. Maybe those are 3 things in your business. Maybe those are 3 things in your family relationships. Maybe those are 3 things in your physical health or your mental health. But you're going to pick 3 things and you're going to work on those 3 things every single day for 60 days. And over that 60-day period, those will become habits for you. And you won't have to think about them anymore, but those results will continue to happen. So that's what I would recommend for you today. Pick 3 things that you can work on starting now and make them happen for 2 months until they become habits.
Wow. Powerful, powerful stuff. I mean, it's basic things that we're supposed to be doing, but the mind is not just at that position to think, to say this is what you want to do. And I believe with what you are offering, the accountability is what really matters, because you've got someone that is following through with you to make sure that, you know, what you say you're going to do, you're going to do it. I think this is really, really powerful. Powerful,
Yeah,
powerful.
you're absolutely right. Like it's not a
Yeah.
lot of new information. Information is free and education is everywhere, but the action, that's what most people are missing. So if you're
Mhm.
ready to go, start today. Quit talking about it, quit thinking about it, quit watching webinars about it, and just do it.
Mm. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. That is so good. That is so good. Yeah. So I believe we've come to the end of our show today, except you've got something else that you want to say.
No, I would just say if you are looking for, I mean, if this is resonating with you and you want to work with me or you want to get into the 3 Essentials Mastermind or into Healthy and Happy, you can go to my website, which is livelifeconscious.com, or you can find me on the Habits and Humor podcast or the Habits and Humor group on Facebook.
There's somebody commenting, Stephen Christopher, you're so good. He's been saying, damn, do it. Everyone, damn, do this. This is necessary. Get your habits intact. Would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. That would really be nice, Stephen. So every woman you're struggling with habits, trying to build your habits, you don't know where to start, contact Suzzy, and she'll be able to get you back on track. So thank you for everyone that has been watching, and you will see you again next week for the show. Thank you, Suzzy, for coming on.
Thank you,
We
Aka. I appreciate you
program.
offering to have me be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Bye. Bye, everyone.
See ya.